Welcome to We Win New. These are the unbelievable scenes caught on camera that you will regret if you don't see them. Every second will keep you on edge, and by the end you'll be questioning how some of this is even possible. Now let's get going. On January 29, 2024, an incident occurred at PepsiCo's factory in the Santa Anita district of Lima, Peru. A tank within the industrial wastewater treatment facility ruptured, leading to a powerful explosion. The force of the explosion caused significant structural damage, including the collapse of a portion of the factory wall onto a public road and the toppling of nearby utility poles. The explosion caused by this lithium battery is incredibly powerful, yet despite the obvious danger, a number of people have gathered to watch the spectacle unfold, seemingly undeterred by the severity or potential danger of the explosion. Lithium explosions can be extremely hazardous, releasing toxic fumes, fire, and even shrapnel. In such situations, maintaining a safe distance and alerting emergency services should always be your first response. Curiosity should never come at the cost of personal safety. On September 16, 2011, a series of explosions erupted at a gas storage facility situated within a residential neighborhood in Lima, Peru. The incident occurred when gas tanks at the storage site ignited, leading to a significant fire. This footage captures the entire process of a homemade lithium battery exploding, an extremely dangerous event that demonstrates just how hazardous improperly assembled or handled batteries can be. It is strongly advised never to attempt building or tampering with lithium batteries at home. Always rely on certified products and follow proper safety protocols to avoid fire. The explosion happened at the plant operated by Shandong Udal Chemical in Shandong, China on May 27, 2025. The plant, situated in an industrial park, manufactures chemical components for use in pesticides and pharmaceuticals. Windows of nearby buildings were ripped from their hinges by the explosion. Local residents said that their home, more than 4 miles from the plant, shook from the impact of the explosion. Lava flows from the volcanic eruption in the Democratic Republic of Congo ignited fuel at a gas station in Goma on January 21, 2002. A massive fireball erupted, leaving a huge black cloud over Goma more than an hour later. The people were at the station trying to loot gas and diesel fuel when the tanks ignited. They were using plastic containers to retrieve the fuel and carry it back across the lava. On July 4, 2023, a car smashed into a beauty salon in Sheffield, UK. Thankfully, all of them are all right. While they were leisurely driving along the beach, enjoying the calm surroundings and ocean breeze, an unexpectedly large wave surged ashore, jolting them from their peaceful moment. Two pedestrians had a remarkably lucky escape while crossing at a designated crosswalk, as a speeding vehicle narrowly missed them by mere inches. An electric vehicle unexpectedly lost control, crashing directly into a residential house, shattering glass doors which caused panic and alarm among the homeowners who were inside at the time.
Is the girl gonna make it? No, the girl's not gonna make it. Oh, this isn't gonna make it. Oh.
They miscalculated the distance between the rising water level and the underside of the bridge, resulting in their boat becoming wedged and almost immobilized.
We're on it.
A woman was running for her life as a sudden flash flood swept through a region in China, and although the powerful surge of water posed a serious threat, she was fortunately able to escape to higher ground just in time. On May 7, 2021, a mud truck overturned at an intersection on Jiangbei Avenue in Nanning, China, while trying to avoid an electric bicycle that ran a red light. The truck driver was coming home from work and had a car pull out in front of him. The Blue Ranger who dodged the crash stopped, helped, and gave the cam driver a ride home. Everyone is safe. A driver in Australia reportedly fell asleep at the wheel and crashed into a tree, getting adequate rest before long drives, and never underestimating the dangers of drowsy driving. On May 26, 2025, in Gill Plains, South Australia, a hit-and-run incident occurred involving a car suspected to have either a copied license plate or possibly be a stolen vehicle, prompting an ongoing investigation.
Lima.
I guess his insurance company will love watching this video. Never turning from the middle lane, crossing a lane of traffic. That is something you should never, ever do. A distracted driver failing to notice slow traffic ahead caused a rear-end collision on Highway 101 eastbound. The driver exited the vehicle and moved to safety. The crash led to temporary closures of eastbound and westbound traffic in the area.
¡Quítala la vieja! ¡Quítala!
A car driver in Ostrova, Czech Republic, did not give way to a tram, and the two cars collided at full speed. The passenger car spun during the collision, the tram derailed and ended up on the sidewalk. Fortunately, no one was walking on it at the time. On May 22, 2025, in Emerson, Georgia, a freight train collided with a tractor-trailer carrying hot liquid asphalt at the railroad crossing near Highway 293 and Gaston Westbrook Avenue. The driver, identified as Floyd Munsey from West Virginia, was outside the vehicle at the time and was uninjured. A train collided with a cabin truck that was positioned on the tracks, resulting in a powerful impact in Hereford, Texas. In a heart-stopping moment captured on a snowy road, a tank truck begins to skid uncontrollably, but through incredible skill and composure, the driver maintains control the entire time.
Holy crap. You're gonna hit the dock. The camera! What is going on?
The vessel, which was flying a giant green, white and red Mexican flag, then drifted toward the edge of the river as onlookers scrambled away from shore. Nobody was reported injured on the bridge, which was undamaged. Some crazy videos coming out of Zhangjiao in central China during major flooding in 2021.
战地记者来了，你看这车。
海滩四跟沙口路的中间段，海滩四刚走过去。
大家不要说话，你们热不热呀？
That's why people should focus on the road instead of their phones. A woman was fleeing the scene in which she attacked her sister in a home improvement store in Guam, US at a terrifying speed. What happens when you clean your air conditioner after 10 years? A shocking moment occurred in Zigzag, India, as a gas cylinder experienced a leak and subsequently exploded. The bus unexpectedly burst into flames, causing its passengers to flee in panic on August 16, 2023, in Buenos Aires, Argentina. The cause of the fire was an electrical-mechanical problem. An explosion at a gas station happened in Russia's southern region of Chechnya. The explosion of a gas tank triggered a fire at the service station in the regional capital. A house in India, destroyed by an external fuel tank accidentally dropped by the Indian Air Force. A bus parked on a roadside caught on fire after a burning gas cylinder rolled underneath in China. A man managed to pull the gas cylinder away with a hook, and people ran up to put out the fire on the bus with extinguishers. Be careful, not just for you, but for everyone around you. always use proper procedures, tools, and personal protective equipment as required. It happened on June 29, 2014, on the highway Ussurisk, Russia. The car fell on its roof in shallow water. An electric car suddenly caught fire while it was being charged, raising concerns about battery safety, charging equipment standards, and proper fire prevention measures. With massive blows off the roofs of houses and buildings in Nazarovo, Russia. On the morning of May 1st, 2025, a truck lost control and crashed into two cars in Kaohsiung, Taiwan. In a bizarre incident in China, a tractor went out of control, veering wildly off its intended path and causing panic among bystanders. On May the 11th of 2014, the driver of the Mercedes moving in front tried to squeeze between two oncoming trucks, but failed and collided with both. On May 7, 2014, a drunk driver crashed into a tree on Papinintsev Street, Russia. On December 25, 2014, in Korea, a dramatic collision between two dump trucks was captured on CCTV, causing sand to scatter across the roadway.
Yeah, we sold out.
And that's why you never sit alongside a foreign truck in their blind spot.
Are you joking? Are you joking?
A derailment happened on Senoia and Tyrone Road, which caused the rail line on Tyrone Road to close. The derailment caused the 6 rail cars to derail, some rail cars to topple on their side, and one landed in a tree.
You're the coolest guy in the parking lot, and then this guy shows up.
A Dollar General truck stopped on the tracks, and it was hit by a coming train in Tangipahoa Parish, Louisiana.
You saw that.
Some lessons need to be learnt the hard way. A catastrophe occurred when a high-speed train struck a tanker truck loaded with jet fuel, resulting in a massive explosion and fireball that engulfed the surrounding area.
儿子这种才是成功啊！那买了一个车啊，才有女朋友啊，有没有？那。
That cow's got more horsepower than the engine. In Tennessee, a Norfolk Southern train collided with a car that was either stalled, resulting in a powerful impact that left the vehicle damaged. Watch this Turkish Air Force F-4 Phantom saves itself from hitting the ground. Check and remove ice from the roof of your vehicle. Drive smart, drive safe. A clean roof is a safer ride. On January the 2024, in the north of the Noto Peninsula, Japan, an earthquake occurred. Large earthquakes can instantaneously reshape coastal landforms owing to fault zone ruptures that uplift the Earth's surface. There was heavy rain in Mussoorie, India. Kupti Falls suddenly started overflowing. Along with the water, a huge amount of debris and stones started falling into the falls from the hill.
रोड ब्लॉक हो गई है यहाँ पे सारा जो मलबा है ये ऊपर से सारा बह के
Flash floods escalate so quickly. Glad those people were moving fast enough onto the ledge and out of the way.
Are they broken down?
Well, they got out of the car at least, so.
On December 28, 2022, in Claremore, Oklahoma, a 40-foot recreational vehicle broke down on the railroad tracks. As the RV stalled on the tracks, a train approached and collided with the vehicle.
Hey, this low boy is stuck right here on the tracks. Boom!
On December 18, 2024, in Pecos, Texas, when a Union Pacific freight train collided with a tractor-trailer carrying an oversized load at a grade crossing.
Right in front of the museum, quite a mess, dude. Took out this truck right here.
In North Salt Lake, Utah, a train struck a FedEx semi-truck at a railroad crossing on January 21, 2017. The crossing gates and warning signals were not active at the time of the crash. A truck caused panic in Guizhou, China, when it entered the streets and began to burn. A large fire broke out, engulfing the entire vehicle, street furniture, and a car parked nearby. Fortunately, the truck driver was able to get out of the cab in time. A small truck traveling uphill lost control of its unsecured load, causing several steel coils to tumble onto the roadway, where they struck and severely damaged a row of parked scooters. A corner section of a 9-story residential building collapsed in Izhevsk, Russian. The cause of the collapse was a gas explosion, and other residents have been evacuated from the building. Explosions caused by natural gas leaks are frequent in Russia, especially in older Soviet-era buildings. A truck caught fire while crossing a British-era bridge along the highway in India, making the cylinders burst into flames one after another. There were no vehicles or passers-by near the spot when the incident occurred. On Christmas morning 2020, an RVV exploded in downtown Nashville, disrupting telecommunications across the region. A vehicle was completely engulfed in flames and ultimately burned down on the Moscow highway in Russia, where an epic explosion, reportedly caused by a gas cylinder. An explosion occurred at a village in Chinese Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region. Many gas cylinders had been stored inside the building. Firefighters extinguished the fire and carried 42 cylinders out of the building to avoid any further explosions. An accident happened on the highway when a truck suddenly lost its wheels while in motion, causing the vehicle to veer uncontrollably across multiple lanes before overturning.
Oh, he's gonna hit that son of a bitch. No. Oh my God.
Holy Mother of Moo Moo.
Oh my God.
A train derailment occurred in Mer Rouge, Louisiana, when a Union Pacific freight train collided with a truck hauling a rubber-tired crane that had become stuck on railroad on October 5, 2014.
Oh, good Lord.
At the time of the traffic accident, a train was moving along the railway crossing. The truck, driven by a man, drove into the oncoming lane and drove into a ditch.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
This was in Langley, Canada on July 8, 2013. Scary, but everyone walked away. Never pass on the right side of large trucks, for that matter any vehicle, everyone. The high winds caused a truck container to fall off a bridge in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, hitting a police cruiser. The officer inside the cruiser was not injured. In Russia, a 38-year-old driver operating an armored personnel carrier failed to maintain a safe distance and collided with a Lada Priora that had stopped at a red light. The pickup truck ran off the road in an apparent attempt to avoid a sudden braking situation ahead and lost control as the driver tried to prevent a rear exit collision in Taiwan.
Harsh event detected.
Harsh event detected.
This is a crash when a driver was driving at excessive speed on a rainy road, skidded and rear-ended a vehicle stopped on the shoulder of the road.
Посигналим.
Стой! Блин, дурак, ёб твою мать!
Это пиздец нахуй.
No one was injured following a gas line explosion just outside of Spearman, Texas on January 17, 2017. The explosion happened in an open field and rattled windows. Flames shot up about 100 feet into the air. A professional truck driver skillfully avoided a catastrophic crash by quickly assessing the unfolding situation ahead, where a truck had abruptly swerved into his lane. Pay attention to your surroundings no matter where you are or what you are doing.
Колесо открутилось.
Use full protection gear. A secure safety harness and lanyard must be properly attached at all times.
Ủa dây này có điện không anh?
It was fortunate that the lightning struck a little away from where she was playing. In September 2020, a large crane toppled into the river while engaged in dredging operations in Vietnam. You can see the crane operator wearing a white shirt running away. Powerful wind caused the roof to crash down onto the road and leave debris scattered across the area. An old school building was demolished after engineers determined that its aging structure had deteriorated to the point where it posed safety risks. Never attempt to overtake other vehicles in areas where road construction is taking place, as these zones often have narrowed lanes and reduced visibility. A nearly 100 feet tall chariot being pulled as part of a village fair in Bengaluru, India, crashed. A road caves in Kerala, India, following unrelenting rain and mudslides across the area. This is why defensive driving is everything. Wow, he got a guardian angel watching over him. No, he hit and ran. I hope they catch him soon. the wall of the university collapsed directly onto the sidewalk and road in Russia. Supermarket roof collapse during a hailstorm in Sao Paulo, Brazil on December 30, 2024. A car slammed into a vape shop on July 26, 2017, near Mile Square Regional Park, California. The tractor carrying coal was so heavy that it rolled backwards and fell into the ravine, despite the driver's efforts to save the vehicle. At least everyone is all right.
Wow.
Hey man, stay in bike lanes when available, wear bright and use lights at night. It took months for SpaceX to complete its investigation into the cause of the explosion. Ultimately, it concluded there was a problem with a pressure vessel in the second stage liquid oxygen tank. Terrifying CCTV footage from India captured the landslide flow on December 1, 2024, where torrential rains from Cyclone Fengal Final Destination vibes. But this time, he actually won.
Well, that guy nearly died. Oh my god.
A Reading Blue Mountain and Northern freight train had a derailment in Nesquehoning, Pennsylvania on February 9, 2020. One of the trailing units blew up and caught on fire in Houston, Texas. Eventually, they stopped the train by College Station, Texas, and firefighters were at the scene to extinguish the flames. Definitely not the SUV's fault. Forget looking both ways for cars, now we have to watch out for airborne signs too. Learn to control your car before you try to show off. Dashcam footage captures a T-bone crash involving an Atto 3 and a Kluger in Sydney, Australia. An explosion in a grain warehouse at the Derailment port in Turkey. This holds up to 8 million tons of wheat, barley, legumes, chickpeas and lentils. A car crashed in Chechnya, Russia, a gas cylinder explosion, resulting in a powerful blast. No one was hurt. A van explodes outside a busy shopping centre in Southampton, UK. The van contained cylinders that exploded. Unbelievable how close that was. The racer and navigator were not seriously injured in the accident. On October 28, 2014, an Antares rocket carrying a Cygnus cargo ship exploded seconds after launch from Wallops Island, Virginia, due to a turbopump failure in the engines.
3 missions that bring Cygnus on its 3rd CRS mission to the ISS.
That main engine's at 108%.
AVI power nominal.
Things happened in northwest Calgary, Canada.
Не, да и в принципе такое отношение, то есть ни хера потом. Ни хера себе, блядь. Чуть не перевернул. Вот Кемеридин, все, тут пока, давай, авария. Не с нами, слава богу. Слушай, может остановим?
What a dangerous mess. If your truck gets stuck on railroad tracks, get out immediately and move away at a 45-degree angle toward the direction of the oncoming train. Woman in South Florida stuck her vehicle on the Brightline train tracks and it was completely demolished. The Qiantang River tidal bore is a spectacular natural phenomenon occurring in China, particularly around the Mid-Autumn Festival. On February 13, 2024, vehicles reversed to escape a landslide near a gold mine in eastern Turkey as mounds of earth slipped down a hill and across a road. He is okay. Those tires have to have been completely bald for them to lose it in such a low-speed turn. On February 24, 2016, a crane hit the ground after being pulled down for scrap metal. The driver's life flashed before their eyes. That was too close. What happened? Why underground water pipe bursts? Wind gusts broke the windows of the Palermo Hippodrome, Argentina, and sent pieces flying through the air. The East Palestine train derailment on February 3, 2023 stands as one of the most significant environmental disasters in recent US history. Norfolk Southern Freight Train 32ND derailed near the Ohio-Pennsylvania border in East Palestine. Of the 150 rail cars, 38 derailed, including 11 tank cars carrying hazardous materials such as vinyl chloride, ethylene glycol, butyl acrylate, and isobutylene. The derailment led to a massive fire and the release of toxic chemicals into the air, soil, and waterways, prompting evacuations and raising serious health and environmental concerns. Investigations by the National Transportation Safety Board and the Federal Railroad Administration revealed that the derailment was caused by an overheated wheel bearing on a hopper car. Hot bearing detectors recorded rising temperatures, but the spacing between detectors, approximately 20 miles, was insufficient to provide timely warnings. In the days following the derailment, concerns grew over the stability of the vinyl chloride tank cars. Norfolk Southern, citing the risk of explosion, conducted a controlled vent and burn of 5 tank cars on February 6, 2023. This action released a large plume of toxic smoke, including dioxins and other hazardous compounds, into the atmosphere. The environmental impact was extensive. Contaminants entered local waterways, including Sulphur Run and Leslie Run. Pollutants from the derailment were deposited via wet weather events across 16 states, reaching as far as southern Canada and North Carolina.
That's the best thing I can describe it as. It's the closest thing I've smelled to it.
Cleanup efforts have been ongoing, with Norfolk Southern spending over $1 billion, 0 cents, on environmental response and remediation. The disaster prompted calls for enhanced rail safety regulations.
Okay, so here we are in Walker's backyard here in East Palestine. I'm going to give you an idea of what they're doing right here. So these are all train cars right behind me. And as you can see, they're just chewing them up.
One major takeaway is the urgent need for improved infrastructure and monitoring systems, particularly the deployment of more closely spaced hot bearing detectors to identify mechanical issues before they escalate. Stronger regulations, increased oversight, and community involvement in recovery efforts are essential to rebuilding trust and ensuring accountability. The lessons from East Palestine serve as a wake-up call for the entire rail industry and policymakers to prioritize safety, transparency, and environmental stewardship to prevent similar tragedies in the future. On June 27, 2022, a crane was loading pressurized chemical containers onto the Hong Kong-flagged vessel Forest 6, destined for Djibouti. During the operation, a cable lifting a container filled with approximately 25 to 30 tons of chlorine gas snapped, causing the container to fall and rupture upon impact. This released a dense cloud of toxic yellow gas at the port of Aqaba, Jordan. Chlorine gas, commonly used for water purification and industrial processes, is highly toxic. Inhalation can lead to severe respiratory issues, including pulmonary edema and acute respiratory distress syndrome. The inquiry revealed gross negligence and systemic failures in safety protocols. Specifically, the cable used to hoist the chlorine container was rated for 8.6 tons, significantly less than the container's actual weight of approximately 28.9 tons. This mismatch led to the cable's failure and the subsequent disaster. Further findings indicated that critical safety procedures were either inadequately followed or entirely absent. Tasks involving hazardous materials were delegated to untrained personnel, and there was a notable absence of safety attendants during the loading process.
شايف معلم لوين بلشت توصل وريحتها لا تطاق. هيا بلشت توصل لهون.
The Aqaba gas leak tragedy exposed deep-rooted issues within Jordan's port operations, particularly concerning safety standards and regulatory compliance. In the aftermath, the government pledged to implement comprehensive reforms aimed at overhauling safety protocols and ensuring strict adherence to hazardous material handling procedures. These measures are intended to prevent similar tragedies and restore confidence in the nation's industrial safety standards. All employees, especially those involved in handling dangerous materials, should receive certified hazardous materials training, including proper response during leaks or accidents. It underscores the necessity for continuous evaluation and improvement of safety protocols to protect workers and the public from preventable disasters. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill was one of the worst environmental disasters in US history. On the night of April 20, 2010, the sea was calm in the Gulf of Mexico. A massive oil rig called the Deepwater Horizon floated quietly far off the coast of Louisiana.
Looking at the inside of this derrick, 210 feet of steel pipe.
The rig, operated by Transocean and leased by BP, was working on sealing a deep underwater oil well, one of the deepest in the world at over 13,000 feet below the surface. The crew on board, who had spent years working in the dangerous world of offshore drilling, were nearing the end of the job. They were preparing to seal the well and move on. Some were already talking about heading home, but deep beneath the waves, pressure was building. Signs of trouble had surfaced. A failed pressure test, unusual readings, but they were misread or ignored. Then, at 9:45 p.m., disaster struck. A violent explosion ripped through the rig.
This is what a burning rig looks like.
For 2 days, the Deepwater Horizon burned. Then it sank, leaving behind a far more insidious threat. With the rig gone, the oil well located nearly a mile underwater was left open. Crude oil began pouring into the Gulf of Mexico. Thousands of barrels per day. The sea turned slick and dark. For 87 days, the oil flowed freely, unstoppable, as engineers and scientists scrambled to contain it. It wasn't until mid-July that they finally managed to seal the well using a custom-built cap. By then, an estimated 4.9 million barrels of oil had spilled, one of the largest oil spills in history. Fisheries shut down, beaches were closed, families who lived off the sea, fishermen, shrimper, tour guides, saw their way of life vanish overnight. Investigations followed. BP was found grossly negligent. The disaster, it turned out, wasn't just an accident. It was the result of poor decisions, cost-cutting, and ignored safety warnings.
As we out us die.
BP eventually paid over $60 billion, 0 cents in fines, lawsuits, and cleanup costs. Other companies, including Transocean and Halliburton, also faced penalties. The sea is still healing. Some scars remain unseen in the depths, or hidden in the DNA of the creatures who survived. For many, the Gulf of Mexico is a reminder of how human ambition, when paired with recklessness, can bring nature to its knees. The US government overhauled offshore drilling regulations. New safety rules were introduced. Blowout preventer, meant to be the last line of defense, were redesigned. The Deepwater Horizon spill was a tragedy, but it also became a turning point. It showed the world that technology, no matter how advanced, must be used with care, and that we all share the responsibility of protecting our planet. The finish line is here. Don't forget to give us a like button and share your road encounters in the comments, and don't miss the video on the right side of the screen. See you soon.